Gym teacher ignore my brother's medical note. Big mistake. My high school gym teacher tried to force my younger brother with asthma to run a mile, saying asthma is just an excuse for lazy kids. But he didn't know who my mother was. It was my brother Leo's first week in high school. Leo has severe asthma and carries an inhaler everywhere. On Tuesday, the gym teacher, Coach Miller, told the class they had to run 3 miles in the burning heat. Leo showed him his official doctor's note explaining his condition and requesting light exercise. Coach Miller didn't even look at the note. He threw it straight in the trash can and said, "I've heard every excuse in the book. You run, or you get an F." Leo was terrified of failing, so he started running. But by the second lap, he couldn't breathe. His chest was tight, and he collapsed onto the track, gasping for air. Instead of helping, Coach Miller walked over, stood over him, and shouted, "Stop acting. Get up and finish the lap right now." Luckily, a classmate ran to the nurse, who rushed out with a wheelchair and saved him. When my mom found out, she was furious. The next morning, the principal called a meeting. When we walked into the office, Coach Miller was sitting there with his arms crossed, smiling arrogance. Before my mom could speak, Coach Miller smirked and said, "Ma'am, your son is just soft. If you keep babying him, he'll never survive in the real world." The principal just sat there and nodded along. My mom didn't yell. She calmly reached in her bag, pulled out her phone, and put on speaker. She dialed a number, and a man answered, "State Medical Board and District Legal Oversight. How can I help you?" Coach Miller's smirk instantly disappeared. My mom said, "I am filing an emergency complaint against a teacher who deliberately destroyed a child's medical records and forced a student with documented respiratory distress into a life-threatening medical emergency." The doctor on the phone added, "Ignoring a documented medical condition is a direct violation of state law and constitutes child endangerment." The principal's face turned completely white. He stood up and stammered, "Wait, Mrs. Davis, let's talk about this privately." But right at that moment, 2 police officers and a representative from the school board walked into the principal's office. The school board officer looked directly at Coach Miller and said, "Coach Miller, you are immediately suspended without pay, and you need to come with us for questioning regarding child endangerment." Coach Miller tried to look at the principal for help, but the principal turned his head away. As Coach Miller was escorted out of the building in front of the entire school, my mom looked at him and said, "I told you asthma wasn't an excuse."